This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, rap mogul Suge Knight is expected to turn himself in after a deadly hit-and-run in Compton. The man who died, apparently a friend of his. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
And I'm Rudabe Shabazi in for Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. Knight's lawyer confirms he was behind the wheel. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell is live in Compton with the breaking details. Amy?
Rudabe, a major investigation underway here at the scene in Compton. Several streets shut down. And as you mentioned, an attorney representing rap mogul Suge Knight says he was the driver of a car that hit two people here in Compton, killing one of them, a man who is said to be his friend. Now, the fatal hit-and-run accident happened around 3 this afternoon at Central Avenue and 142nd Street. Authorities tell us both men were transported to a local hospital where one was pronounced dead. The other was reportedly not seriously hurt. Now, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the incident happened near the set of a promotional shoot for a film called Straight Outta Compton, which is produced by rappers Ice Cube and Dr. Dre. Suge Knight's attorney told Eyewitness News that Knight was attacked by two people at the location and struck the two victims as he tried to escape in his car. Suge Knight, of course, has had numerous run-ins with the law. He's currently on bail awaiting a court hearing on charges in connection with the alleged theft of a camera from a paparazzo. And as we come back out here live, once again, the investigation is ongoing out here. But again, according to Suge Knight's attorney, he plans to turn himself in to the Sheriff's Department. Obviously, we'll have much more on this story later. Reporting live in Compton, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Amy, thank you. We'll check back with you. And we have more breaking news, this time out of Wilmington, where we've learned two teenagers have been killed in a violent crash between two vehicles. The victims' identities have not yet been released, but we do know that they are both students from Banning High School. The crash happened just before 4 o'clock this afternoon in the 300 block of West Pacific Coast Highway. 3 other people are hurt with injuries ranging from minor to critical. PCH is closed in the area while investigators try to figure out what caused this crash. And parents are getting their first chance to grill South Hills High School administrators since the arrest of 3 employees accused of having sex with students. A meeting on campus got underway about an hour ago. School officials say the meeting is part of the healing process and moving forward. They say it will give parents a chance to ask questions and voice concerns. Police recently arrested 2 teachers accused of having sex with students on a camping trip and a wrestling coach accused of sexual contact with a student.
A former UCLA water polo player accused of rape and other assaults accepted a plea deal today. Prosecutors claimed Hakup Kaplanian attacked 3 people between 2012 and 2013. His attorney claims the sex was consensual. This morning, Kaplanian pleaded no contest to single counts of assault and making criminal threats. The water polo player was sentenced to 6 months in jail. From the beginning, he has maintained his innocence.
The evidence showed that he was innocent. The problem is where there's multiple victims and you got so much exposure, the risks of going to trial, the uncertainty of going to trial made him afraid to go to trial, not because of the evidence, but the number of victims.
All other counts against Kaplanian were dismissed as part of the plea agreement. His record will show he is a felon, but not a sexual offender.
A judge postponed arraignment today for 3 teenagers accused of beating a USC graduate student to death. Xingran Ji, a student from China, was murdered last July. He was walking home to his apartment near the USC campus after a study session. Investigators say the teenagers attacked the 24-year-old with a bat and a wrench and then left him for dead after an attempted robbery. The 3 will be back in court on March 5th. Criminal proceedings have been suspended for a 4th suspect who is awaiting a mental competency hearing. And a major new development today in the case of a murdered 20th Century Fox executive. John Creech, a convicted drug dealer, was charged today with murder. Gavin Smith was last seen on May 1st, 2012. His body was found 2.5 years later in rural Palmdale. Smith's car was found in a Simi Valley storage facility earlier. Investigators focused on Creech, who has been in jail on an unrelated drug conviction, and they say Creech's wife had a relationship with Smith. Creech is set to be arraigned Monday.
Hundreds of patients and staff members were forced to evacuate from Southern California Hospital in Culver City this afternoon as smoke filled the building. Firefighters say workers on the roof were burning some roofing materials when the small fire started. The smoke got sucked into the air circulation system and spread. About 150 patients and 225 staff members evacuated the 7th-floor building. Firefighters say others sheltered in place. They say there have been no injuries reported.
A potential Ebola patient is being treated at UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento. Hospital officials say the patient first showed up at the emergency room of another nearby hospital, Mercy General, but was transferred to UC Davis, one of 4 designated Ebola treatment centers in California. The person recently traveled to West Africa and is being kept in an isolation unit. So far, there's no confirmation this is a case of Ebola, but nurses and doctors are all wearing state-of-the-art protective suits.
Our initial reports are that the nurses who have volunteered feel comfortable and feel competent in providing the care for this patient, and we expect to be hearing more from them on an ongoing basis.
Meanwhile, the emergency room at Mercy General is being cleaned.
An investigation is underway tonight into the death of a transgender woman. She died after getting unregulated silicone injections at a house party. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Frere has the latest from Santa Ana.
Images of botched cosmetic procedures are easy to find online. The dangers taught in workshops at the LGBT Center of Orange County. The reality driven home after the death of a 40-year-old transgender woman.
It really broke my heart because it really spoke to me about our body image issues.
Police say in December, a Santa Ana woman who is not being identified went to a house party and paid for cosmetic injections to enhance her buttocks.
Who was the person that was injecting him? Are they medically trained? Are they a doctor? What exactly did they inject into the decedent?
Police say January 1st, the woman went to the hospital with a respiratory problem. She died 20 days later. Cause of death, silicone embolism syndrome related to an injection for cosmetic purposes. As police investigate, the center OC says the death shows the risk involved with silicone parties that have been happening for decades, usually underground.
It's really dangerous because it can happen in a hotel or in someone's garage, someone's house. Some of the stuff that I've heard that gets used and is very common is industrial-grade silicone, airplane fuel, goat's milk. It's usually with some kind of chemicals that have not been approved.
Now, authorities warning people, if you're going to get a cosmetic procedure, make sure it's done by somebody who's medically qualified and know the risks. If you have any information on this case, call Orange County Crime Stoppers at 1-855-TIP-OCCS. In Santa Ana, Eileen Frere, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Tonight, maintenance crews at Ontario International Airport are inspecting a United Airlines jet after reports of smoke forced it to make an emergency landing. The flight from LAX to Dulles International was diverted when passengers reported a burning smell. An eyewitness captured video of firefighters dousing the plane's brakes. Several passengers posting pictures to social media as the plane was evacuated. The 199 passengers were bused to a terminal to wait for another plane.
A powerful gas tank truck explosion rocks a Mexico City maternity and children's hospital. Dramatic video captures the moment it happened. At least 2 people, a woman and a baby, are dead. Dozens of others are injured. Firefighters and rescue teams are digging through the rubble looking for anyone who may be trapped. About 75% of the hospital collapsed in this blast. It occurred when the tanker was making a routine delivery of gas to the hospital kitchen as gas started to leak.
Hours after the latest ISIS deadline has passed, there is no word on the fates of 2 hostages. The terror group released an audio message last night threatening to kill a Jordanian pilot if a female al-Qaeda prisoner on death row wasn't released. There was no mention on the recording of the Japanese journalist being held hostage. Jordan's government said the swap was on hold because ISIS hadn't delivered proof the pilot is still alive. The possible prisoner swap was not carried out by the deadline, and now both families are pleading for their loved ones' lives.
The Republican-controlled Senate today passed a bill approving to conduct the controversial Keystone XL oil pipeline. The move defied President Obama's veto threats and is setting up to be the first of many battles with the White House over energy and environment. The president can and most likely will still veto this bill, saying it would lead to more climate change. Republicans contend it will lead to more jobs and wean the U.S. off of foreign oil. A wild scene today at a Senate committee hearing when an anti-war group launched a demonstration targeting former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger.
Arrest Henry Kissinger for war crimes!
Committee will stand in recess until the Capitol Police.
Members of the group Code Pink approached the witness table where former Secretaries of State Kissinger, Madeleine Albright, and George Shultz were seated. Senator John McCain berated the protesters and called for their arrest.
I've been a member of this committee for many years, and I have never seen anything as disgraceful and outrageous and despicable as the last demonstration that just took place about, you know, you're going to have to shut up or I'm going to have you arrested. If we can't get the Capitol Hill police in here immediately, get out of here, you low-life scum.
Wow. Well, critics have long accused Kissinger of war crimes for his handling of the Vietnam War. Kissinger has denied the charges.
Tonight, a new indication that our drought will likely run through a fourth consecutive year. The second snow survey this winter found that the Sierra Nevada snowpack is far below normal. The survey found that the snowpack water equivalent of just 2.3 inches. It amounted to just 12% of the long-term average for this time of year. This after an unusually warm January. And pretty nice day out here in Southern California. Nothing to complain about. Let's get a check on weather with Jonathan Novak.
Yeah, we tried to help a little bit in the mountains with that drought today with some showers and some snow. Big Bear time lapse, folks. Nice. Showing a little bit of light flurry activity around Big Bear earlier on. And our live Mega Doppler 7000 HD will show you we still have some light shower activity around Dana Point up to Huntington Beach. Just some sprinkles or some light rain around Corona down toward Murrieta, and this is going to kind of be the case for tonight, just nothing too heavy, but occasional on and off some light showers in the eastern and southern portions of our area. Still some precipitation showing up around Big Bear Lake and Lake Arrowhead as well. This extends west toward the eastern portions of Los Angeles County. I think for tonight, this is kind of where we're going to contain most of it as this area low pressure that is to the south of us kind of hangs out for another day or so. We'll talk more about the rain chances heading into the weekend and some gusty conditions, too, in that 7-day forecast.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
Yep.
Frightening face-off for a grandma with her young granddaughter in the car.
Stop it! What she did before and after this road rage encounter that helped police track down their suspect.
Plus, a community meeting in St. Louis gets rowdy. What sparked this scuffle between police and local residents?
And an ABC News investigation. A Survivor contestant paddling and diving. Turns out he's a former NFL star who collected workers' comp. How does he explain this?
Case of road rage caught on cell phone camera by a grandmother who came under attack from another driver.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop!
Sherry Norman of North Carolina was driving with her granddaughter, who's heard crying in the video, when she noticed a car tailgating her. She says the driver tried to run her off the road and then got out of the car and went after her not once but twice. The second time, Norman started recording with her cell phone.
She broke my handle on my car, and then here, and I had my seatbelt on, and she grabbed my seatbelt in my hair at the same time.
When Norman turned the video over to sheriff's deputies who posted it on Facebook, and almost instantly the woman was identified as 40-year-old Kristen Phillips. She's been arrested and now faces a half a dozen charges, including reckless driving and assault.
Another case of people behaving badly, this time in St. Louis, Missouri. A scuffle broke out at a city council hearing on police misconduct. Witnesses say a police union official pushed a woman out of the way and it escalated from there. Council members were discussing the creation of a civilian board to independently oversee policing. About an hour into the meeting, a police union official complained to the chairman about people in the crowd who were heckling speakers. The union official, Jeff Rorda, says anti-police radicals fueled the disorder and that he did not push the woman.
Well, all of that snow that has fallen in the Northeast has to go somewhere, right? In Boston, dump trucks are hauling it all off to what they call snow farms, otherwise known as large empty lots. The snow for the blizzard this week was 28 inches deep in some parts of the city. Sanitation crews are trying to clear the streets and sidewalks as quickly as possible, especially since more snow is expected to fall tomorrow.
And we have a Boston native here who's grateful to be in Southern California, right? Where is he?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they don't have a lot of snow expected in the forecast, but you know, when you add that on top of almost 3 feet of snow, it's insult to injury.
We need that snow.
I know. I wish I could just, you know, flip things around. It's just not going to happen. We had a little bit today over Big Bear, and we might see a little bit more, this much more in the mountains, but we need some serious rain, and it just does not look likely. How about this in the meantime? This is a sunset for sunsets. I mean, this is just fantastic over Malibu. Wow, it's almost, I just want to sit here. We got 3 minutes we can just, no? Carper? No, you don't. Thought maybe my producer might allow that. That was just a beautiful shot. Live Megan off of 7000 HD. We've got some showers showing up, but again, this is not the kind of rain. We need some real measurable rainfall across the board, across the area, and right now it's just light, and it's not going to be incredibly heavy, and it's not going to be long-lived. This is about maybe a day, day and a half that we have this chance hanging around Dana Point, Huntington Beach, Mission Viejo, stretching up some on and off showers around the southern and eastern portions of the area, through the IE and up through the mountains, you know, on Big Bear Lake. Some snow actually showing up right now, so it won't be very heavy snow, but, you know, you'll take it. And this extends far west to about maybe Van Nuys, and I think that's going to be about the extent of it for tonight. And I'll show you why here in a moment, but the temperatures on top of it are very warm. We're not seeing real cold systems dive in from the south, or from the north, I should say, diving south, and so these really warm temperatures are just hanging out in the mid-70s. We were getting around 75 today in LA. 67 right now in Fullerton, a comfortable 66 Van Nuys, 67 Santa Clarita. This is that area low pressure. This is the second one we've had in a week, just down to the south, bringing in some moisture and some warmth, and this northeast flow is going to mean a chance of rain up in the Antelope Valley, of all places, better than the other areas of Southern California. That low will hang out for about a day and bring a rain chance around to maybe about Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon, before it heads out. So look at the future rainfall forecast, and you'll see the bulk of the rain is to the east of us. Mountains, the IE, the high desert, that's about it for the better chances of rain. Maybe a light shower in LA, and the chance of that's only 20%. By Saturday afternoon, it is out of here except for an isolated chance in the high desert, and that's it. And then we're looking for really warm, windy weather. Temperatures like this, 70 tomorrow in LA, is the coolest temp that you'll see for a while. 68 Encino, 66 Thousand Oaks, 42 Wrightwood, 42 Big Bear, 69 Mission Viejo. Here's that 70 forecast for LA Metro and Orange County. Okay, 70 for a couple of days, and then 76 on Sunday, a warm forecast. A slim risk of a shower. It's not incredibly significant. And again, I'm keeping those rain chances better off in the IE and in the mountains in the high desert. And even there, it's only about 40%, which isn't bad, but I mean, nothing too measurable. 76 on Sunday, a breezy one for the weekend. And then let's head to the beach. Slim risk of an isolated shower. You're climbing up to 72 on Sunday. Beautiful weekend. weekend for you. The mountains, we might accumulate another inch or two of snow over the next couple of days with this on and off activity. Temperatures in the lower 40s and then 50s on Sunday on. What we would really need is some real cold air for you guys. It's just not going to happen this go around. In the high desert, slim risk there, 30% of a few showers Friday and Saturday, and then you're into the 60s and 70s, so sunny into Monday. A dry forecast for the most part, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Tonight, an ABC News investigation. A former NFL player claiming the game left him seriously disabled. He collected workman's comp, but now he's accused of fraud after competing in the grueling reality show Survivor. ABC's Brian Ross has the story.
When former football star Brad Culpepper, the one in the red shorts with a white stripe, showed up on CBS's Survivor, it was a typically gritty performance.
Brad Culpepper in the water again.
But it came just 2 years after Culpepper's lawyers claimed he had a disability rating of 89%.
I'm in pain, and I'm in pain every day, but this is not a sympathy story.
But now Culpepper, number 77 for 8 years in the NFL, is being sued for fraud and deceit after collecting $175,000 in workers' compensation.
Going on Survivor, Brian, that's a lot to deal with, and the insurer is upset about it.
On Survivor, Culpepper seems to have no problem diving into the water, lifting himself back into the boat. But according to the lawsuit, he told doctors he could only get in and out of the bath with quite a bit of difficulty.
If you'd have a hard time getting in or out of a bath, how are you able to dive into the water like that in Survivor?
You keep asking me this. I was on pain medication, and I had back procedure right before that.
What about these scenes, given his claims he can lift and carry heavy objects only if they are conveniently positioned?
How many times are you going to...
Well,
No, because I'm on pain medication.
And then a clearly frustrated Culpepper decided it was time for the TV interview version of a blitz, tearing off his coat and tie and shirt and stripping down to his undershirt.
This is a normal bicep. Okay, how's that one look? Okay, is that normal? That's not, okay. That causes me pain. Do you see this AC joint?
Mm-hmm.
That's bone, that's my clavicle, okay? It's not over here, it's here. That's permanent.
Culpepper, a wealthy trial lawyer himself, now says he wants a jury to determine if the allegations of fraud have any merit. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.
Up next, the LAPD taking heat for providing security for an ex-Mexican mafia leader serving life in prison.
Plus, a new proposal to change state law so cheerleaders get more money. Should pro sports teams be forced to pay up?
And an Eyewitness News exclusive, a crackdown on John seeking out prostitutes. We go on an undercover sting.
All right, we have breaking news in North Hollywood where a car has smashed into a business. Let's go to Bill Thomas near 7 HD. Bill?
David, all happened on the 12,200 block of Victory Boulevard in North Hollywood. It's right by the 170 freeway. There's the SUV that went into the Anna's Linens. Fortunately, LA City firefighters say the two people who were injured treated only for minor injuries. A good deal of damage to the store as well. As the investigation continues here, westbound lanes of Victory Boulevard are temporarily blocked. Reporting live from Air 7 HD, I'm Bill Thomas, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, thanks, Bill. The LAPD is coming under criticism for an event involving an ex-Mexican mafia leader serving life in prison. Renee Enriquez spoke to a gathering of police chiefs and business leaders in downtown Los Angeles about transnational criminal operations such as the Mexican mafia. But given the security concerns, nearly 24 LAPD officers were required to safeguard the location.
Well, it was informative, and I think it was valuable, and it was, you look at the cost-benefit analysis of doing that, and I think it was good. Perhaps the location could have been better. We could have picked a location that was off-site, a little easier to secure.
Attendees received a copy of the book, The Black Hand, about Enriquez. Police Commission President Steve Soboroff has criticized the location and other aspects of the event and has asked the LAPD's Inspector General to conduct a review.
We're updating the evening's top stories next to 7:30.
Including the latest on our breaking story in Compton. Rap mogul Suge Knight involved in a deadly hit and run.
And one city's plan for a sister city sparks a huge protest today. Why people are so opposed to this idea.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Our top story at 7:30, we're following breaking news. Rap mogul Suge Knight expected to turn himself in following a deadly hit-and-run in Compton. I'm Rudabeh Shabazi, in for Colleen Sullivan.
I'm David Ono. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. Knight's attorney confirms he was behind the wheel. He says Knight was being attacked and was trying to get away when two people were hit at Central Avenue and 142nd Street. Terry Carter, an apparent friend of Knight, was killed. Actor Claiborne Sloan was also hurt. According to The Hollywood Reporter, this occurred at a promotional shoot for the film Straight Outta Compton about the rap group NWA. Knight has had multiple run-ins with the law over the years and was a victim of a shooting in August.
A major sting today by the LA County Sheriff's Department cracking down on prostitution in South LA. Unaware they were soliciting sex from undercover agents, would-be Johns were arrested on the spot. Eyewitness News reporter Robert Olguin rode along with deputies and has this exclusive report.
The young woman standing on this bustling street corner in South Los Angeles is actually an undercover sheriff's deputy who's posing as a prostitute.
We're doing what we call car dates tonight, where the act will happen in their car.
Lieutenant David Oliva is with the LA County Sheriff's Department. He's describing a prostitution sting that's focusing on a busy intersection in Athens.
If they solicit sex for money, we're going to make the arrest.
And it's not long before the undercover deputy is propositioned.
What kind of money? Real home money. What kind of real home money are we talking about?
This man is accused of soliciting a prostitute.
She says she's working, so $70, I don't know, it could mean a lot of things.
We can't show his face, but he's taken into a nearby hotel room for processing. He tells deputies he wasn't trying to pay for sex.
I don't know what was going to happen. I just thought she was a pretty girl. She might need to go out of Santa Monica or something. I don't know.
It's a misunderstanding as far as you're concerned.
Pretty much.
The alleged John happens to be carrying a small amount of marijuana and more than $7,000 in cash. He says he was going to buy a car in the neighborhood. The alleged John is cited, then released, and it's not long before deputies make another arrest. Oliva says the department often targets pimps and prostitutes, but today they're going after Johns.
It's just like any other business. We try to cut out one of the supply lines. If you cut out the customer, prostitution will go away.
We weren't able to tell you the exact corner where the sting is taking place because the sting will continue until midnight tonight. The offense that the alleged Johns were cited with is a misdemeanor. Reporting from South LA, Robert Olguin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Violence breaks out at a Pacoima bus stop. A man is seen chasing a woman before she's found stabbed to death just outside a police station. The victim has been identified as 47-year-old Maria Ontiveros, a resident of Pacoima. The violent attack happened at Osborne Street and San Fernando Road. Juan Rodriguez says a friend told him he saw the victim at the bus stop trying to get away from her attacker.
There was a girl there, and this guy, he was trying chasing, kissing, or taking to the car. They know each other, but she was running already from him.
Investigators are still searching for a suspect. If you have any information, you're urged to call police at 1-877-LAPD 24/7.
A San Bernardino man is behind bars charged with trying to set his ex-girlfriend on fire. Police say the woman, who identified herself only as Destiny, came dangerously close to being seriously hurt. Investigators say the suspect, 18-year-old Eduardo Rios, broke into her house and found her with another man. Police say the suspect splashed gasoline on the two of them and then set Destiny's sweater on fire. She quickly took it off and was not burned. Police say Rios also struck Destiny in the face. He now faces charges of domestic violence and assault with a deadly weapon. And one of the two men convicted in the beating of a San Francisco Giants fan, Brian Stowe, changed his plea to guilty today in a federal weapons charge. Luis Sanchez appeared in court this afternoon and pleaded guilty to one count of being a felon in possession of firearms and ammunition. Sanchez faces a maximum of 10 years in federal prison when he's sentenced on May 7th. He is currently serving an 8-year sentence in state prison for the beating of Stowe. Last week, the other co-defendant, Marvin Norwood, also changed his plea in federal court to guilty.
The murder trial of former New England Patriots star Aaron Hernandez began today in Fall River, Massachusetts. There is one thing that jurors are not allowed to wear in court. Patriots apparel, seemingly everywhere in Massachusetts, is strictly forbidden while Hernandez is on trial. ABC's Lana Zach has the latest.
The prosecution says cell phone records and video surveillance shows the route Aaron Hernandez took when he allegedly killed Odin Lloyd.
Despite having picked up Odin Lloyd at 2:23, only 3 people returned to Aaron Hernandez's house.
The former New England Patriots star is accused of murdering the semi-pro football player outside an industrial park near his home. A marijuana joint found next to the body contained DNA from both Hernandez and Lloyd. Hernandez has pled not guilty.
Aaron Hernandez is an innocent man. The evidence will show that Aaron Hernandez did not murder his friend Odin Lloyd.
Among the evidence presented today, cameras from inside Hernandez's own home.
Holding a gun. That appearance is unique. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a law.
The defense argued that image is not proof.
You'll decide what's in Aaron's hand. Whether it's an iPod or an iPhone or a TV remote.
Meanwhile, in the courtroom, struggling against tears, Lloyd's family.
They find a footwear impression and they cover it up.
All too much for this grieving mother, who exited the courtroom before the defense even began.
The defense attorney kept reinforcing the idea that Hernandez and Lloyd were friends. He also said that the police targeted the former football star, and after that happened, he, quote, didn't stand a chance. In New York, Lana Zach, ABC News.
A bipartisan group of senators is introducing a bill that would lift travel restrictions on U.S. citizens who want to travel to Cuba. The legislation is the first since President Obama moved to normalize relations with Cuba last month. Arizona Republican Senator Jeff Flake says similar legislation to end the ban has cleared the Senate in the past, but this bill still faces obstacles in the House and Senate.
It's time for something new. It's time to allow Americans to travel freely to Cuba. This will be good for the Cuban people and also good for Americans.
The Obama administration eased some restrictions on the U.S. travel ban last month. Current law generally bans travel to Cuba, although there are several exceptions. Protests over Riverside's decision to enter into a sister city relationship with a city in Vietnam. Many local Vietnamese Americans who are hostile to Vietnam's communist government are calling on Riverside to cut this relationship. Orange County reporter Greg Lee has more on the controversy.
Waving flags and chanting, more than 100 Vietnamese Americans and Vietnam War veterans stood on the steps of Riverside City Hall in protest. The group is calling for the city council to end its sister city partnership with Can Tho, located in communist-controlled Vietnam.
How on earth a civilized city such as Riverside could establish a relationship with such a brutal government?
The council voted 4-3 to make Can Tho's ninth sister city. Many of the protesters came from Little Saigon and Westminster and Garden Grove, where Vietnamese immigrants make up a large part of the population. The councils from both cities are writing letters supporting the protesters.
Communist Vietnam is the worst country in the world. They had a human rights violation. They support human rights trafficking.
Riverside Mayor Rusty Bailey says he welcomes the protests. However, he believes promoting cultural and commercial ties between the two cities could help spark change.
Opens up a window for us to be able to share with them democracy, and share with them our freedoms.
The protesters say that's not enough to forget about the atrocities committed by the communist government, actions that led many of them to leave their home country.
For us to accept and turn a blind eye to this without any conditions of improvement or betterment for our people in Vietnam is completely wrong.
The mayor says he will consider the protest and the letters he's received, but he says it'll be up to City Council to make a final decision. Reporting in Riverside, Greg Lee, ABC7, Eyewitness News.
Up next, a treasure hunter accused of cheating investors appears in court.
Plus, chaos during the morning commute. Passengers knock out windows to escape a train car. We'll show you why.
We'll also get some showers out there on that line making up a 7000 HD. How heavy does the rain get? How long does it last? I got answers to those questions in your weekend forecast coming up.
A terrifying moment for commuters in Boston. Eyewitnesses saying they could smell the burning rubber, taste the smoke, and struggle to breathe. All of it was just weeks after that other incident when smoke filled the train in Washington, D.C. We get more from ABC's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, panic caught on camera on a Boston subway train, the Red Line. Watch as passengers push themselves through windows to escape what some of them called billowing smoke on the train.
It was all dark inside, and then somebody shouted, and people started screaming and stuff, and they were yelling to open the doors.
Kristen Bello, a nurse, helped get passengers out. You could taste the smoke.
You could taste it. You could smell it, taste it. It was hard to see it. We didn't have power in our car.
A worker here telling us there was so much smoke, it lingered for hours. Still, Boston's Transportation Authority says this was a mechanical failure, insisting there was no smoke inside the subway car. There was a small amount of smoke on the platform generated by wheels spinning on one subway car.
It's stressful. People get panicked.
This on the heels of the D.C. Metro incident, where smoke filled a car, sending more than 80 to the hospital and killing one.
Again, that was ABC's Gio Benitez reporting.
A deep-sea treasure hunter accused of cheating investors out of millions in gold bars and coins appeared in a Florida federal court. 62-year-old Tommy Thompson was taken into custody Tuesday near Boca Raton after being on the run for 2 years. He told the judge he would fight extradition to Ohio, where his investors are. He says he has various illnesses that would be made worse by returning north. Thompson is accused of cheating investors out of their share of $50 million in gold bars and coins he recovered from a 19th century shipwreck in 1988.
Scattered showers tonight all around SoCal. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak looks ahead to the weekend up next.
Plus, she's got the eye of the tiger, and we'll listen to Katy Perry roar during her Super Bowl press conference.
And the card game app with an unusual name. How Exploding Kittens is breaking records on Kickstarter.
A bill introduced in the state legislature today would force pro sports teams in California to treat their cheerleaders like other employees. And this comes after lawsuits filed by several NFL cheerleading squads, including the Raiderettes. And they say they're being paid below minimum wage and don't get the same benefits as other team employees. But the teams argue the cheerleaders aren't regular employees. They are independent contractors.
All right, well, let's get a check on weather now with Jonathan. We could use some rain, Jonathan.
We could use some rain. We're getting a little bit, and we were just checking in with Air 7, and some of these readings, these echoes in the live megadoppler 7000 HD, most likely some of it is Virgo, which means it's coming down but not reaching the ground, evaporating before it does. That would probably be around the LA area. Some of the other readings that we're taking a look at as we see this activity kind of basically fizzling to the south, but also sort of redeveloping over certain portions of the area around Big Bear over to Wrightwood, where we're seeing actually a little bit of snow around Wrightwood. But overall, this is light activity, and it's not expected to really stretch too much further to the west. So if you're in the LA area, if you're in the IE, if you're in the OC, or in the mountains off in San Bernardino, Riverside County for tonight, maybe a light shower at most, okay? In fact, it looks like it's going to be warm again tomorrow. It was warm today, 75, and if you look at the rainfall, big goose egg. Okay, so again, the rain that we're having, not really much in the way of accumulations, unfortunately. We need a big system to barrel on in from the north, and it is not anywhere in that 7-day forecast. We're looking at more temperatures like this, warm, mild, 67 in Fullerton, 61 Riverside, 42 Wrightwood. Big Bear, you did see some snow today. You're hanging on at 34, 68 Palm Springs, and a mild Van Nuys at 66. So where are we getting some of this activity from? Well, it's another area low pressure that's developed more to the south of us, which is not a typical system in the winter, and it's hanging out for about a day, day and a half. It's going to drift slowly to the east and the south, and that will take the moisture with it, but that won't happen until Saturday. So we got about a day and a half more where we have a slim risk of some of these showers making their way around this area of low pressure into Southern California. The chance at best is about 40% over the mountains. The high desert, about 30%. LA, 20%. And the beach, chance is very, very low, about 15-20%. So the future rainfall forecast, we bring it through the morning. Notice just the green is generally staying off to the eastern portions of the area or completely to the east. Saturday afternoon, an isolated shower is still possible around the Antelope Valley, and that's only because you have that circulation around that low out of the northeast, and that could pile up a little bit of that moisture up in the high desert. The chance, again, is really low. So I'm trying to give you a little hope for some rain here, but it's just on the low end. So we'll go with 40% for a risk of some showers overnight in the IE, 20% in LA, and then temperatures above average, 57 at the beach, 51 in the valleys, and then highs tomorrow just above average. This will be actually some of the cooler days that you'll see in your 7-day. 70 in Los Angeles, 68 Long Beach, 42 Wrightwood, and 67 in the IE. 7-day forecast, let's get to it. A couple of days in the lower 70s and a slim risk of a couple of showers, and then a breezy, warm Sunday. And then next week is looking like high pressure takes control. You know that means sunny and dry. Valleys IE, a little bit cloudy for a couple of days, a little bit mild, and a chance of some showers in the IE, 40%, and then a slim risk on Saturday. A warm Monday through Thursday next week for everybody. Beaches, not a bad one. The chance of rain there, 20%. That would actually be a little bit on the high end. And it looks like we are seeing a little bit of sprinkle activity. And that is, I'm hearing that's in Compton. So, yeah, we are seeing some of those showers out there. Very light rainfall. And, again, if it's reaching the ground, it would be just a measurable type of rain. And the mountains are looking for a little bit of snow over 7,000 feet for the next couple of days. Maybe another inch or two accumulating in the next week back into the 50s for you guys. And then the high desert, the chance of rain, about 30%. So, yeah, guys, chances low, and you saw there from Air 7, it's not a real heavy rain, just light stuff.
All right.
Trying for you.
A big old tease. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
The Super Bowl isn't the only game in Phoenix. The PGA is hosting a tournament highlighted by Tiger Woods making his season debut. But Tiger's opening round didn't live up to the hype. Fans got a lot of up-close looks at Tiger's swing as he struggled to find the fairway. Eldrick started 4 over par after the first 4 holes. Tiger did have one Tiger-esque shot today. His second shot on the par 5 13th hole. Tiger with a 5-iron and a wise choice. It nestles inches away from the cup for an eagle. Tiger with a 2 over 73. He's 9 shots back at the leader, Ryan Palmer. And while they're playing golf in Scottsdale, Sunday's Super Bowl is just 30 minutes from there in Glendale, Arizona. And today was the final day for players to talk to the media. Seahawks running back Marshawn Lynch has had little to say this week, but today he delivered sort of a lecture to reporters.
I don't know what story y'all trying to get out of me. I don't know what image y'all trying to portray of me. But it don't matter what y'all think, what y'all say about me, because when I go home at night, the same people that I look in the face, my family, that I love, that's all that matter to me. I'll come to y'all event, y'all shove cameras and microphones down my throat, but when I'm at home in my environment, I don't see y'all, but y'all mad at me.
Katy Perry has sold over 11 million albums throughout her career, and now the 25-year-old will supply this year's Super Bowl halftime entertainment. And if the California girl's performance is just as good as her press conference, she will not disappoint.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. I don't think I'm so much of an expert on the game of football, but I think I can assure everyone in here that nothing in my performance will be deflated. I've never been betted on as far as what my hair color is going to be. I feel like, wow, nobody's really ever invested in me this much. This is exciting.
Not bad. I thought that was pretty cute. Currently, the props bets for Katy Perry's hair, 2-1 for black brown, pink red, or blue green is 3-1. Blonde is 4-1, and 5-1 for purple.
We'll keep an eye on those odds. Kickstarter is known for helping small companies get off the ground, but a new card game with a quirky name is breaking records on the crowdfunding site. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes talks to the creator of the game Exploding Kittens.
If there's one thing the world can't get enough of, it's kittens. So when Elon Lee and his partners were devising a new card game called Bomb Squad, they realized a name change was in the cards.
We can't call it Bomb Squad. We have to call it Exploding Kittens.
A wise move, because Exploding Kittens is exploding on Kickstarter, a royal flush right from the get-go.
We wanted $10,000. We hit that goal in 20 minutes. We were 1,000% funded in an hour. And now we hit the most backed campaign in any category in the history of Kickstarter.
And there are no signs Exploding Kittens will stop exploding anytime soon. The latest tally puts them well over $4.5 million pledged. Not bad for three guys who initially hoped to sell about 5,000 decks of their outrageously animated playing cards. Their sales expectations now up a bit.
My guess is hundreds of thousands of decks.
At $20 a piece. Sherry Sparrow's company prints and distributes card games around the world. She joined Lee and me for a quick game of Exploding Kittens, which is described as kitty-powered Russian roulette. It basically boils down to one goal.
Avoid drawing the exploding kitten. Whoever draws the exploding kitten explodes, they're out of the game, game over.
But a card game taking off in a world obsessed with apps?
It's retro, and retro's in. You put your phone down for a little while, you walk away from the computer, and you're actually dealing with people.
As well as Taco Cats, Abra Crab Lincoln, and Magical Meat Bikinis. A recipe for Kickstarter history. Of course, it also helps that it's got
kittens in the title,
even if the deck is stacked against them. In Glendale, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Meet bikinis.
I'd like to sit down with a game with all of them.
Yeah.
It's a fun table to sit around with.
Doesn't seem to require a lot of skill. That's good for me. 4 News straight ahead here at 7:30.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. You only have seconds an active shooter in your school, your mall, workplace. So what do you do? What do you say? Where do you sit? An Eyewitness News exclusive will show you how to survive.
These stories and all the late breaking news in Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
College can be very stressful, especially during midterms. A puppy, on the other hand, can be very soothing. Some Caltech students got a chance to pet away the stress today. The Pasadena Humane Society brought some of its dogs to campus so students could play with them. It's good for the dogs, too. It gets them out of the shelter for a while. All of them are up for adoption, so if you see one you like, you can contact the Pasadena Humane Society.
All of them. That's it for us.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.